Few things are as disappointing as craving a simple slice of toast, only to discover your bread is tainted with specks of fuzzy green mold. Sometimes it affects the whole loaf, while other times, only specific areas need to be cut off. But what if you notice the mold after taking a bite? If you've ever accidentally consumed moldy food, don't worry. In most cases, it's not a major concern. In this video, we will carefully examine mold in food and determine if it is actually dangerous. Let's discover first, what is mold? Mold is a type of fungus that looks like tiny threads. Mold is usually visible to the human eye. When it grows on food, it changes how the food looks. The food might get soft and change colors, while the mold itself can be fluffy, powdery, or dusty. It produces spores, which give it its characteristic colors, typically green, white, black, or gray. Moldy food also has a very distinctive taste and may smell unpleasant. Even if the mold is only visible on the surface, its roots may extend deep into the food. Mold requires a moist, warm, organic matter to grow, so food is often an ideal environment. Thousands of different types of molds exist and can be found nearly everywhere in the environment. Mold can be considered nature's way of recycling. Which foods can be infected with mold? Mold can grow on almost any type of food. Some foods are more likely to get moldy than others. Fresh foods with high water content are particularly vulnerable. On the other hand, preservatives reduce the likelihood of mold growth as well as the growth of microorganisms. Mold does not only form in home food. It can also develop during the food production process, including during cultivation, harvesting, storage, or processing. Here is a list with some foods that mold tends to grow on: fruits, strawberries, oranges, grapes, apples, and raspberries. Vegetables: tomatoes, bell peppers, cauliflower, and carrots. Bread, especially when it doesn't contain preservatives. And cheese, both soft and hard kinds. Mold can also grow on other foods, like meat, nuts, milk, and processed foods. Most types of mold require oxygen to survive, so they usually do not thrive in environments with limited oxygen. However, mold can easily grow on food that is packaged in airtight containers after being opened. Mold requires moisture, but there is a type called xerophilic mold that can sometimes grow in a dry, sugary environment. Xerophilic mold can occasionally be found on chocolate, dried fruits, and baked goods. Not only can mold be on your food, but tiny things you can't see, called bacteria, can also grow with it. Bacteria can cause foodborne illnesses, including symptoms like nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting. The severity of these illnesses depends on the type of bacteria, the amount ingested, and the individual's health. Generally, if you find mold on a soft, creamy food, you should discard it. Creamy food has a high moisture content, making it easy for mold to grow beneath its surface, making it difficult to detect. Bacteria can also grow alongside it. It's easier to remove mold from hard foods like firm cheese. Simply cut away the moldy part. Typically, firm or dense foods are not easily penetrated by mold. However, if the food is entirely covered in mold, you should discard it. Additionally, if you find mold, do not inhale it, as it can cause respiratory problems. These food items can still be used if the mold is removed. Firm fruits and vegetables like apples, bell peppers, and carrots. Hard cheeses, like Parmesan, when the mold is not part of the processing, and cheeses like Gorgonzola when the mold is part of the process. Hard salami and dried meats. When removing mold from food, cut at least 2.5 centimeters around and beneath the mold. Also, be careful not to touch the mold with the knife. If you find mold on these foods, throw them away. Soft fruits and vegetables like strawberries, cucumbers, and tomatoes. Soft cheese, like cottage and cream cheese, as well as shredded, crumbled, and sliced cheese. This includes cheeses made with mold, but contaminated with a different type of mold not involved in the production process. Bread and baked goods. Mold can easily grow beneath the surface. Cooked food. This includes sides, meat, pasta, and grains. Jams and jellies. If these products have mold, they may contain mycotoxins. Peanut butter, legumes, and nuts. Products processed without preservatives are at higher risk of mold contamination. Sausages and bacon, yogurt and sour cream. Mold is not always unwanted in food. Penicillium, a type of mold, is used in the production of many types of cheeses, including blue cheese, gorgonzola, brie, and camembert. The strains used for these cheeses are safe for consumption because they cannot produce harmful mycotoxins. The conditions they live in, inside the cheese, are not suitable for mycotoxin production. Other safe forms of mold are koji, including Aspergillus oryzae, used in fermenting soy to make soy sauce. They are also used in vinegar production and in fermenting beverages, including the Japanese drink sake. Mold can create harmful chemicals called mycotoxins. Depending on the amount, exposure time, and a person's age and health, they can cause illness or even death. Immediate toxicity includes digestive symptoms like vomiting and diarrhea, as well as acute liver diseases. Long-term exposure to low levels of mycotoxins can weaken the immune system and may even lead to cancer. While the growth of mold is usually quite visible, mycotoxins themselves are invisible to the human eye. One of the most commonly encountered, highly toxic, and extensively researched mycotoxins is aflatoxin. It's a known carcinogen and can be lethal if ingested in large amounts. Aflatoxin contamination is more prevalent in warm regions and is often associated with the onset of droughts. Aflatoxin, along with many other mycotoxins, is very resistant to heat, so they can survive food processing. Therefore, they can be present in processed foods, such as peanut butter. Although exposure to mycotoxins in food is common, strict regulations and monitoring in many countries help maintain safe levels. It's challenging to entirely avoid mycotoxin exposure. Mold typically produces these toxins when food has spoiled, making it likely you've already discarded affected food. There are several ways to prevent food from spoiling due to mold growth. Keep the storage area clean. Regularly clean the inside of the refrigerator every month. Maintain cleanliness of cleaning tools. This includes hand towels, sponges, and other cleaning utensils. Don't let products rot. Fresh food has a limited shelf life. Buy small quantities at a time and use them within a few days. Store perishable foods in the refrigerator. Store foods with a limited shelf life, like vegetables, in the refrigerator, and don't leave them out for more than 2 hours. Storage containers should be clean and well sealed. Use clean containers when storing food and close them to prevent exposure to mold spores in the air. Use leftovers promptly. Eat leftovers within 3 to 4 days. Freeze for longer storage. If you don't plan to eat the food soon, put it in the freezer. In conclusion, when it comes to accidentally eating mold, the effects can vary from person to person and depend on the type of mold and your individual health. While some molds are harmless, others can lead to health issues. It's essential to be vigilant about the foods you consume and follow the guidelines we've discussed to minimize the risk. If you ever find yourself in doubt about moldy food, it's generally best to err on the side of caution and discard it. Your health is precious, and avoiding potential health risks is the wisest choice. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe for more informative content on Mind Amplify.